everybody. I made it. My name's Kath and I created the Cheapskates Club a little over 22 years ago. Can you believe that? At Cheapskates Club, our goal is to live life debt-free, cashed up and laughing. It's not just the name of my first book. And I've been sharing how my family's managed to do that for a long time now through workshops, through radio interviews, TV interviews, magazine articles, and of course our Cheapskates Club website, and the last few years through YouTube. If this is your first time visiting our channel, welcome. And of course, you know what I'm going to say. If it's not, welcome back. Guys, I didn't think I was going to make it. Got to 7 o'clock, came out, flipped the switch, and my camera, it was blank. There was no sound. There was no audio. There was no sound. Now you can hear Lacey dog. You can't go outside. You will bark. You have to sit down and be good. Yeah, too bad. Where's your toy? Go find your toy. And, sorry, we're dog sitting again. I honestly, no, Lacey. Excuse me, folks. Now she won't let me have it. Oh, gosh, it has been one of those years. We're only into day 2. Where's the toy? Bring the toy. Go and bark at Thomas. Do you want to go to bed? Uh-oh. Here she comes. Now she's in trouble. Tom's coming out. Okay. Well, I'm rambling. That is what it has been like for 5 weeks in our house. Rambling. Okay, so while we wait for everyone to catch up, hello Yvonne, hello Mary. It's very stormy here too. It's been storming since about 3:30 this afternoon. The thunder's stopped. It's still drizzling a little and it's really dark. 4 o'clock, it was dark enough that I had to put a lamp on to be able to see. Hello Estelle. Hello Joe. Everybody. Hello Kylie and Kelly. Your Kath fix. I don't know how much of a fix it's going to be tonight because honestly I'm a bit hello Jane. I hope you're surviving the wild weather. Hello Lucinda. Greg Evans, did you miss me? Oh, that's nice. Hello Joy. Bob Star. Estelle, I don't know if you missed any shows. I can't remember what I've done and what I haven't done. Aradia, Beverly, Joy's ready. Woohoo! Hello Barb, how are you feeling? Let me see. Hello Selena and Sylvia, Mrs. Dillagaff, Angela, Tegan, hi Maureen. 11 tins of tuna. That's only one a month, Joy. Depends how big your pantry want your pantry to be and how often you eat tuna. 11 tins isn't many in my pantry anyway. Sorry. Hello Kathleen. Hi Delaney. Hello Melissa. Hello Cheryl. Yvonne says hello Lacey dog. She's gone now. She's in trouble. Lacey is a Kelpie. She's a beautiful dog. She's a Kelpie, and I think her mother, she's got quarter lab in her. Her mother was a lab, or part lab, but she's a Kelpie lab cross, and she's a gorgeous dog. She's very big for a Kelpie. We don't think she's big, but when we see her with other Kelpies, She's enormous. But she is more kelpie than anything else. She likes to round things up and move them along and herd and gather things up, and she guards things. She's very good at guarding. So yeah, she's got the kelpie colouring with the black with the gold or tan, I think they call it. And she has a beautiful nature. She's very friendly. Not that you'd know it if you heard her bark at you, but she's very friendly, very protective of Hannah too, which is good because Hannah's on her own up in the country in her house. And yeah, very protective of Hannah. Hi, Annabelle. Yeah, Lacey wanted to say hi. All right, jolly dog. Hello, Di. Di, I didn't tell anyone well, one I put up was no show. I think I did that 2 weeks. I don't know. I can't remember. We've had a bit of we have an ongoing crisis. And so I was here and not here and here and not here. I'd be home for a day and gone for 4, home for a day and gone for 5 sort of thing. So I don't know what I honestly, I was telling Annabelle about it the other day. I am so far behind what I normally am for this time of year. I feel a bit lost because I'm just not as organized as I normally am. 1 a month. Joy, sorry, I'm jumping to Joy's comment about tuna. 1 a month. Okay, so I use I probably use 2 dozen a year of the big ones because I'll do tuna surprise, or I'll do a curried tuna slice. I'll do fish cakes. I use tuna for fish cakes. So that's how we get our fish portion into our diet, because my lot are not keen on fish. Yeah, she does, Selena. Lacey does have she's a beautiful puppy. Not that she's a puppy, she's getting on now. Hello, Mandy. Yeah, Barb, the weather won't be helping your pain. The humidity and the heat and the constant pressure changes I find really muck up with me. Okay, I need to get started. I'm going to be looking up and down because the camera tonight is up here and my notes are down here. So if I'm not looking at you, forgive me, because I'm trying to read what I'm writing. Because I want to know, are you ready for 2024? You know, it's here already. Can you believe we're 2nd of January already? Oh, I think we're almost ready. As ready as we can be at this time of year. And that's because I like to be ready. I like to prepare. Because, you know, time flies by and sometimes it goes really quickly, or it seems like it does. And sometimes it drags, but we still need to have things done because things happen. Life happens. So I'm confident that right now, tonight, we're as prepared for the coming year as we can be. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't room for improvement. Doesn't mean there's not room for more preparing, because I am a preparer. I like to be ready for whatever is coming, whenever it comes. Even if I don't know what it is, I still like to be prepared. So this year, our pantry is getting an overhaul. It will be a big job, and I've sort of blocked out 6 weeks to do it. In my diary, I've blocked out 6 weeks to do it because I know I won't get it all done in a day or even 2 days. So I've plotted out how I'm going to do it. I have a plan of attack for that, to overhaul the pantry, to make sure that we really are using everything that's in it. Pretty sure we do. I rotate through stuff fairly quickly, and there's not often things that just linger. And if they are, they're usually things that I've been given, not things that I've bought. So spice packets or those casserole packets, things like that. Where are you? Those sorts of things. So I want to go through those, that sort of thing, add them, make sure they're on the inventory and get them all up to date. Because I like to be prepared. And I'm doing it because I have more tools at my fingertips to allow me to build the pantry a little more, to add more shelf-stable foods and to rely less on the freezer. And that's my big thing, is to really be able to ditch those freezers and just have the little one over the fridge. We've lost some fruit trees lately. I was a bit devastated. I'm not exactly sure how we lost them, but I have a feeling it was council spraying, and they did choose a really bad day to spray, and I think my fruit trees, or at least 2 of them, copped the overspray. I wasn't happy, and I did let them know. But you know what? We have a lot of fruit trees. So now I'm looking at those empty pots and I'm thinking that's a blessing, because that sort of gives me more ground to plant crops that grow faster, that produce more of the things that we eat. Excuse me. What do we do? What do we do? We do not muck up while I'm working. And the things that I can preserve myself. Okay. Sorry, guys. Lacey, do you want to go to bed? Would you like to go to bed? You want to go outside? Going to sit down? Then you'll just have to keep working. Okay, things that I can preserve easily. So yesterday I canned up carrots. Do you know how good it? Like, frozen carrots are great, but having carrots canned in the cupboard, just ready to pop the top and use, they can be eaten straight from the jar, is amazing. So good. And the last lot I did, I added our moo onion soup mix to flavour them. They're really nice. This lot yesterday, I did glazed carrots, so orange juice and brown sugar. And I got that idea from Sutton's Days. Excuse me, I really have to do something about this dog. Lacey. Don't let anyone ever tell you that this isn't real life. This is real life. She's happy now. She has a bone, not a bone, a biscuit bone. Gosh. No, Barb, Lacey doesn't want to help me do the show. She just wants to get attention. As soon as you're not paying attention to her, she's like a little kid. She wants it. Okay, so what was I up to? Oh, the carrots turned out really well. I got the idea of the glazed carrots from Sutton's Days. So I'm looking forward to those, because my mum used to do carrots and she used to put honey and butter and I think it was just parsley through the carrots, and we just love them. So I'm hoping these ones will be just as good. I wasn't sure about canning the honey, but then I suppose if I'm doing the brown sugar, it's still a sugar, isn't it? Anyway, so I'm working on that sort of thing, because to me, filling the pantry is security against bad times. And it just makes sense. It just makes sense to do what we can when we can to prepare ahead for anything. Whether it's next Christmas, because we started the Handmade Christmas Challenge, or whether it's Easter, because that's coming up, or Australia Day. We know these things are coming, so we can prepare for them. We shouldn't wait till the last minute to get ready, you know. My mum used to tell people that I was ready for tomorrow yesterday. I'd have, the kids' clothes laid out for school and lunches packed and whatever. I was ready for tomorrow yesterday. I like to prepare and work ahead. It just makes life so much easier if I can do that. So, and another thing, not to be a Debbie Downer or anything, especially New Year, we're all happy. But, I think bad times are coming. Now, they're always coming in some form or other. The weather, floods, droughts, bushfires, interest rate rises, inflation, shortages of whatever. Bad times are coming. That's just a fact of life, guys. It's not me being all doom and gloom. It's not me trying to scare you. It's just me being practical. Bad times are coming. Good times are coming too. But we have to make the good times. We can fend off the bad times by making the good times. So we prepare, we do our best so that when those bad times come, they're not quite so bad for our families. We sort of can coast through them and not be so stressed. And I think, there's quite a few people that think we've been through the worst in the last 3 years. And we've been through some pretty rough times. But honestly, we need to stop and take a good look around. We need to open our eyes and see what's going on in the world. Because, those bad times we just survived, I don't think they're anything. They're nothing compared to what could possibly be coming. And so I want to be prepared. And I'm going to encourage you to be prepared too, to prepare your pantries. I know that many, many cheapskaters just prepare constantly. Annabelle does, Joy does, Maureen does, I do, Kylie does, Cheryl does. So many of us are constantly preparing, not because we're terrified, we're living in fear, but it's just what we do. It just makes our lives easier. Now, I have to do my yearly shopping this week because I was away last week and that's when it normally gets done. So it's feeling a little weird, but I've made the list. I know what I have to get. Some things I've already crossed off the list because we've already got them for the year. So my goal again this year, just as it has for the last 2 years, is to keep the pantry full all the time. So as something is used, it's going to be replaced. And this way, if I do that, one out, one in or whatever, the pantry is always going to be at the level that I want it to be, at the level that gives me security. It gives us, my family, food security for as long as we want it to be. Another thing that gives us food security is the preserving I do. We are in peak preserving season. Bad time to be away from home, but I do what I have to do. I did the carrots yesterday. I've got celery in the dehydrator. The tomatoes, oh my gosh, guys, I will take photos and post them on Cheapskates Chatter. I have one bed that had 3 tomato plants in it. You would think it is a jungle out there. I went away. They were just 3 plants. I had them all in their cage, nice and neat. Oh my goodness me. They are huge. They have fallen out of the cages. They've flopped over the edge of the bed. They're amazing, and they have so many tomatoes on them. I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're all green at the moment. Am I going to be here when they start to turn red because I will need to process them? Doesn't matter. We will manage. Kids can put them in the freezer for me or something. Sorry, I'm just reading your comments. But I will take photos and show you. So excited about this. These particular three are better than any of the tomatoes, any of the 20 that I had last year. I planted 25. I ended up with 25 tomato plants last year. Ugh, hardly any tomatoes of them. It was a really bad year. This year, oh my gosh. I look out the window because they're just sort of down the backyard there, and they're just gorgeous. And Wayne came in yesterday and said, the tomatoes, she's seen the size of those tomatoes. And please turn red, please turn red. That's what I want. So that's another way of adding to our food security, but it's another way that we prepare in our house, prepare for the future, because we grow for the future. The tomatoes, we'll eat some fresh, but most of them are going to go into sauce and be bottled for winter and spring and maybe even early next summer, depending on how many we get. I kind of really like preserving food. It's become my new, one of my new favourite things to do. I like to dehydrate stuff. I like to pickle stuff. I have to do another batch of sauerkraut. That's how good it was. So I need to do more fermenting. I like water bathing, but not as much as I like pressure canning. And I like vacuum sealing things. And, I still like freezing stuff because it's pretty easy. You just prepare it, put it in a bag, toss it in the freezer, and it's preserved. My only issue with the freezer is power outages. When I can preserve food like that, it's just the knowing that there's food that's going to stay safe to eat in the pantry just makes me happy. It just means that, if I'm home for a day and gone for 4, home for a day and gone for 5, home for a day and gone for 3, they can still eat. They can still look at the whiteboard on the fridge and go, oh, yep, pumpkin soup, pumpkin, it's all there and it's done. All they have to do is heat it. If we're going away, I just have to take it off the shelf, pack it in the van. Meals are ready. It's easy. So I like preserving. I think it's become one of my favourite things to do, I have to say. Now, after I shared the canning plan a while back, and I will put that over on our website. I can't remember whether I said I'd do that or not, but I'll put my canning plan on the website just so you sort of know what I do, the numbers I do, and the quantity, the sizes. So, because I had a couple of questions about the quantities that I have planned. So, I want to stress, I'm not going to do 100 pints of chicken all at once. That 100 pints is going to be spread out over the year, depending on when I can get the chicken cheap enough. I really wish I had the spare cash to go and buy enough chicken to do 100 pints at once. But, it will be spread out over the year. And that's about what we will use this year, around 100 pints. Someone queried me saying pints and quarts for the jars. They are canning terms. Yes, we're Australian and we use metric, but when you are pressure canning, you use pints and quarts. Try and keep it universal so that there's no mistake. No mistake with your headspace, no mistake with the quantities, no mistake with the times, because all those things are very important to be able to produce a safe product at the end. So that's why I say pints, half pints, quarts for the canning jars. And that was the other thing. Someone asked me how many jars I had. Well, I don't really have thousands. That would be nice. Because most of the jars are either on the shelf or when they're empty, they get washed and put out in the shed, ready to be refilled next time something needs to be processed. We rotate them through them pretty quickly because tonight I use 3 jars to make our dinner tonight. So we go through them pretty quickly. The canning plan for the year is 839 pints and 695 quarts. Now, I don't have that many jars. I don't have 1,550 jars or 35 jars sitting in the shed waiting to be used. I rotate through them. Be nice. I think I might like to have that many jars. It'd be a challenge, wouldn't it? But we do rotate through them. So they're reusable. Unlike the flats, they're reusable. So yes, they're expensive, more so here in Australia, but they're reusable. So the more you use them, the lower they come down in price. And it's another form of food security that's going to make 2024 easier for us. Let me see. I'm going to go flop over and check some. Whoa. Okay. Oh, sorry, thunder scared the daylights out of me. Okay, let me see. Oh, Selena, congratulations. Grandbaby, how nice. That's just lovely news. Yeah, Jane. Oh no, Marybear's on flood watch. Okay. I've been thinking of you. Barb's sort of ready. Started filling in a budget. Selena's going to eat down fresh frozen dinners so you can clean out the freezer. Yes, that's a good, and this time of year is a really good time to be diving in the freezer. Oh no, it's up to 6 weeks. That's why we prepare. That's why we prepare. It's why I know it's really hard. We can't control the weather. We just can't. Yeah, there's a reason insurance companies call floods and windstorms and things acts of God, because we don't control them. We can't control them. The best we can do is prepare to the best of our ability. So it might mean having our box of important stuff ready to just lift to go if we have to evacuate. It might mean having a good evacuation plan so that you know to go around, shut the windows, turn the power, turn everything off, get rid of the rubbish, unplug everything, turn the power off at the meter box, that sort of thing. It might be knowing where to put the things, the outdoor furniture, the kids' toys and that, if you are on a cyclone warning, so that there's nothing loose floating around outside. That's all preparing, and they're all things we can do. We can't stop a big gust of wind coming along and taking the roof off. We can't, but we can be prepared by having our box of important stuff ready to go, or having it on a digital key or whatever. We can be prepared by keeping the car full of fuel, by having emergency packs in the car, by knowing where to go and how to get there, having emergency numbers listed. We can prepare for things like that. But it is heartbreaking. And 6 weeks without power. Hopefully some people were smart enough to prepare and get a generator. 6 weeks is a long time without power, although we have done it. It's interesting. But someone was talking this afternoon and said something about, it was on Cheapskates Chatter, I'm pretty sure. Might have been Tuesday Afternoon Club. And we were talking about something, and I was thinking, I thought the 3 things that I would not want to live without, the dishwasher, the washing machine, and the vacuum cleaner. I could live without other electrical appliances, but those 3, I think I'd rely on. Hello, Krista. Hello, Evelyn. Yeah, you had computer problems too. Huh. Glad it wasn't just me. How do you can carrots without pickling them? Well, I either, if they're little carrots, like baby carrots, they'll go in whole or cut in half, or I will cut them into slices or circles, put them in the jar, and then you just top them up with water and pressure can them. So you've got your half pints and pints, both pressure can for 30 minutes. 1 inch headspace, pressure can them for 30 minutes. You don't need to pickle them. You're pressure canning them, so there's no need. That's the preserving method. No need to pickle them. They're very, very easy to do. You will love doing beans. They are so good pressure canned. I do what we call taco beans. So I will get a mixture of kidney beans, black beans, whatever beans I've got. I mix them up, soak them, give them a good wash, give them a soak, put them in the jars, and then I add a tablespoon of our taco seasoning to them, top them up with water, put them through. Oh, they are so, so good. And those beans soak up the water and it makes like a sauce. So you can just warm it up and dump it straight onto corn chips and top it with some lettuce and some tomato and cucumber and cheese and sour cream and have really tasty nachos. Or do whatever, add them to mince and make tacos with them. They are delicious. My kids like taco beans. Really like taco beans. I love having them on the shelf. Kylie's mostly ready for the new year. Oh, dehydrated eggplant. Oh, that's interesting. I've not tried to dehydrate eggplant. I don't grow as many carrots as I would like to, Selena, simply because we eat a lot of carrots. I don't have the space to grow as many as we would need. So they tend to be something that's often on sale too for $1.80, 65 cents a kilo. When they are, I will buy lots of them and preserve them. Yeah, I'm glad it's not just me, Greg Evans. Kylie, it might just have been the weather. Too humid, too hot, too humid. Tomatoes like heat, but they tend to like a dry heat. We're sort of in the middle of a global food shortage now, or well into one now, with different things that are disappearing. Odd things that people don't take notice of. So it sort of becomes a sneaky sort of shortage. I agree, Joy. There was such a really long good time. Look, all the wars that we have had in my lifetime, other than Vietnam, were short-lived. For Australian troops, were short-lived until recently, and they did not really affect us as Australian citizens too much. Plus, we had high wages, low interest, low inflation, imports were cheap. Yeah, we had some really good times. And there's a whole generation of people, my kids, who didn't know what war was. So, ooh, yellow zucchinis, yummy. Yeah, I hope it gets better for you, Selena. Maybe we're all OCD. No, Matt, I don't think we're OCD. I think we're just very practical people and independent. That's a big thing. I think every single one of us is independent. We don't like to rely on, or we don't want to have to rely on someone else to feed us, clothe us, house us, entertain us, educate us. You know, we want to be able to do those things for ourselves. We want that independence so that we can live our lives the way we want to live them, not the way we would be dictated to if we were to rely on universal basic income, for instance. You know, if we had to rely on that, we're dictated. It's controlled. It's a bit like, you know, the government giving us a card and saying, well, here you are, here's your money, but you can't buy 5 oranges. You can only have 3 apples, and no sausages this week. You have to have Devon, and only 3 slices per person, and 1 bottle of milk, and only 1 light on in the house at a time. It's very, I think we're all too independent to want to rely on that, to want to go down that rabbit hole. I know I don't. I will fight that kicking and screaming. Not interested at all. It's very difficult to be completely self-sufficient, Estelle. Very, very difficult. When you think about, you would need grain crops, you would need, and to be able to harvest them and process them, to mill them, you would need, at the very least, bees for some form of sugar in the form of honey. You would need livestock, chickens, rabbits are popular, I know, sheep, cattle, whatever. It's really, really difficult to be completely self-sufficient and stay healthy and live a good life. It's really difficult. But I think that a lot of us, for the most of us, we're doing the best we can to be that way. We're learning our skills, we're learning new skills, and supporting each other and doing the best we can to become not only self-sufficient but self-reliant. And it is better, yes, better to be OCD than unprepared. Yeah, that's a good thing. Oh, yay, Maureen's tomatoes have gone crazy too. What is it? I had 2 really bad years with tomatoes. This year I'm thinking bumper crop. Oh, it's heartbreaking, Jane. All my fruit trees, bar 2 apple trees are in pots, Estelle. I like fruit trees in pots. I can control them. I can control how big they get so that I get regular sized fruit, but they're not going to be so big that I can't get the apples from the top or the pears or the peaches or whatever. So all my fruit trees are in pots. Kitchen gardens are popular again. That's really good. Cool, Kylie. That will be so good. I have a sister. I know a family who are going completely off grid for their power, and I can't wait to find out how it goes for them, because that is my dream. That is my dream. Straw bale house, completely off grid. That is my dream. It's not Wayne's dream, it's just mine. So I'll never get my straw bale house, but I might manage to get him off grid. Yeah, Fowlers are imperial because they're Australian. So when you use them for pressure canning, you need to make the adjustments, and it does my head in trying to figure out the math. So I use my Fowlers for water bathing, and my ball or kilner or weck for pressure canning. Well done, Estelle. Preserving jars are like gold. If push came to shove and society collapsed around us, if you have jars and lids, you will have a very good bartering system. So jars are like gold. Even if you think you've got too many, hang on to them because you can trade them. You can swap them for stuff. Oh, yes. If it's pressure canned, so you've pressure canned it, you've done it with the right headspace for the right time at the right pressure, it will be fine. It will be the, I take it it's bone broth. In your stock, you've used bones, so you'll be getting the, what is that stuff called? Out of the bones into your stock. Mental block, someone help me. It will be fine. It will be fine. Absolutely fine. As long as it's been pressure canned at the right pressure for the right amount of time, it will be fine. Yeah. When you warm it up, it will melt again. No, it will be good. And if it turns to jelly like that, it will be very nutritious too. Very, very nutritious. Oh, sorry. I've just... Mary Burrow's on Floodwatch. Yes, she did say that. Selena. Sorry, I'm so far behind with the comments. Sewers and Panama canals. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Oh, no. Tornadoes can spring up out of nowhere, though. Tornadoes are slightly different to cyclones in that they can be there, then they can not be there. They are unpredictable things. 300 jars. I would have probably close to, or maybe a few more than that. I think the last time I did a count. But like I say, I rotate through my jars all the time. All right. Okay. Oh, hi, Miss Aussie Thunder. Thank you. Oh, dehydrated chilies. Yes. Cool. In the air fryer. Very good. Black Russian tomatoes. They taste really good too. I've only tried them once. Tegan, interest rates for mortgages. They're saying maybe 2 more rises and then nothing. And they're predicting this, and who really knows? I wonder about this, predicting that they will start to come down around September, October this year. But it's sort of like, if the media says it, will it happen? Because it's somebody out there somewhere saying this. It's not particularly coming from anyone that actually knows, as far as I can tell. So it's a bit like Chinese whispers. No, I haven't seen that meme. Normalcy bias. Thank you. It is. Yeah, it is a thing, and it is very, very dangerous. It's conditioning. You know, for instance, I have to think about how I'm going to say it. No. Okay, take the Jeffrey Epstein debacle. little bits, little bits, little bits, little bits, little bits, with occasional outrage, and then a bit more, bit more, bit more, so that it becomes normal. It's just a thing. That's what the rich do. It's normal for them, but it's not. It might be normal for them, but it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it moral. It doesn't make it legal. We need to be really, 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 really careful. It's like there are a couple of ads on TV at the moment that I just flick off as soon as they come on, because to me they are morally wrong, and I refuse to watch them. I watched both of them. I've seen once, and that was enough. I flick off. I don't even leave the sound on. They're gone. If I'm watching a show or what's it called, YouTube or Netflix or something like that, and they pop up, it's gone. I find them offensive, and they're immoral. But how many times do you have to do something before it becomes a habit? 21. How many times do you have to see something before it becomes normal? About 6. See something about 6 times, and suddenly in your mind it's acceptable and normal. So we need to be really, really conscious of that, conscious of what we put into our minds, because on the surface it might look perfectly harmless, but it's not. It's the things we let our children watch on TV, the games we let them play, the books we let them read, the movies we let them see, the parties we let them go to, all those sorts of things. We really need to protect our minds against all this, so that we can stand strong and say, no, that is wrong. Solar oven. Congratulations, Karen. That is wonderful. I got a tortilla press. I was so. Yeah. You might need to find a farmer who will sell you some, Kylie, because unless you're going to buy a ton of it, it's going to be really hard. Yeah, nobody's going to save us, Annabelle. We have to rely on our own selves. Portable washing machine. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, Barb, Lacey's finished her bone. Try wind, Estelle. Depends where you're planning to buy, but try wind. Try wind. You can get, they're not as popular as solar, obviously, but you can get domestic size wind generators. Hello, Coralie. Glad you've got awesome tomatoes. Collagen. Thank you, Estelle. And marrow. Yeah, same thing. Blackberries. Yum. I'm way behind. Okay. All right. I'll come back because I'm keeping you all later than I need to be. So, our cash budget. We'll get back to what, getting ready for 2024. I've made sure our cash budget is in place. I know it's controversial. People either love cash or they loathe it. I'm in the love cash group because cash doesn't break down. And power goes off, I can still open my purse and take out the money. Cash can't be hacked, can't be tracked, and I'm not saying that in any sort of sneaky or nefarious way, but rather in the, if I'm going to pay cash for something, I'm not going to be target marketed because they have my card details or whatever. And it's actually easy to track. It's easy to track cash. If you love digital, go for it. That's fine. But old-fashioned cash, pen and paper, they work for me, have worked for me for a long time. I would say when it comes to your finances, use what works for you. Because trying to use something that isn't right for you, it just leads to frustration and failure, and you'll give up on tracking your spending, keeping track of your groceries, whatever. So use what works for you. The other thing is we've started a handmade Christmas challenge. Officially started. I finally got the pages up today. Sorry guys, I was so overwhelmed yesterday. It's on our website. We've started the forum group. I'll put a link below so you can go to it if you want to. I'm really looking forward to it. I think last year was the second year I'd done a handmade Christmas. I ended up buying 4 gifts. 3 of them were flints. And the other was, I can't even remember, but it was so much fun all year long. I was able to be creative, and so my creative side was fed, it was nurtured, it blossomed and bloomed. Not really, but I was able to put thought into, on my gift list, I've got, Betty and Alice and whoever, whatever, and think about the person and what I could make that they would find useful, they'd find attractive, that would work for them. So I had a lot of fun doing that. Some of the gifts were practical, some of them were a bit more whimsical or a little more playful perhaps, but it was fun doing that. And I only had to buy elastic, which I don't know whether that says a good thing, it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I only had to buy elastic because I had everything else on hand. And I've started for this year, and I have pretty much most of what I need for this year's gifts too. So I'm really looking forward to doing it again. It just means that our gift budget is pretty much intact. Not much came out of it at all. I loved having the gifts made, and I started wrapping and labeling them as they were finished and crossing off in my list. That was really good. My mailing schedule was a bit thrown out with everything going on, but everything has been sent. So now I can start all over again. If you're going to join me, I would love to have you join me. It was fun. It was fun. Often, finding gifts, if you have to shop for them, I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping. It can be a bit of a trial, and it can be traumatic if I can't find what I want. But this was really good. I really enjoyed it. So we've started Handmade Christmas. I've done my new planner. It's all filled in. I've got our plans for the year listed, our family plans. We've got a few goals that we have to meet. Got a couple of things to work towards that are going to keep us busy. And right now I think we all should be busy. We should be busy like the ants. We should be preparing for the future, not just autumn and winter, but next autumn and winter and next summer. I don't know what the future holds. I have no idea. But I know that every day we will want to eat. I know that we will need clothes and shoes. I know that we will need medications. We'll need fuel. I know that we need to be a little more self-reliant and self-sufficient, as I mentioned, because 2024 is going to be a rough ride for the world. You were talking about the Red Sea and Suez Canal. I woke early this morning to the news that North Korea has warned South Korea that they are planning a nuclear strike. Now, that's probably nothing new because North Korea likes to open its mouth and waffle on and make threats. But now they have that alliance. There's North Korea, China, and Russia in an alliance. That might not be such a hollow threat. And then we've got Palestine. Palestine invaded Israel and took Israelis as hostages. When Israel fought back, the world turned on Israel. It started a war in the Middle East, pretty much. Yemen and Iran have jumped in. The Houthis, they're an Iranian group. They're attacking the ships in the Red Sea. The shipping uses the Red Sea and the Suez, obviously, to cut days off their trips. So I read up on it today, and around 50% of shipping has just stopped going through the Suez and the Red Sea. They've just stopped. The other 50% are pretty much literally taking their lives in their hands to go through. That's causing delays. It's causing delays in delivering what's on those ships. It's brought the US warships in to supposedly clear the blockade. I have an opinion on that, but I'll probably get in trouble if I say it. So I'm inclined to think that this is an election year in the US, and they need a war to take the focus off the election and get people thinking about, changing their attitude, changing their focus from the election to the troubles in Israel and between Israel and Palestine, the troubles in Gaza. So, did the US need to go in? Probably not. I'm inclined to say let them battle it out. But anyway, all that means is that there's going to be product delays, more shortages that we have to contend with. That's another reason to keep the pantry full, isn't it? To keep it stocked and prepare as best we can for our future. When I say our future, I mean I'm preparing for what I believe my family's future will be. You guys, you need to prepare for what you believe your family's future will be, because we all live different lives. We all have different lifestyles. We all have different needs and different wants. We have different likes and dislikes. We live in different places. We work different jobs, have different skills. So while my future on the surface could look like yours, if we dig a little, they could really be chalk and cheese. So when I say we need to prepare, you prepare for you and your family and your household. I'll prepare for me and my family and my household. Over the last few weeks, I've had a lot of time to read, and there is so much contradictory information floating about. Two things I keep in mind all the time. If I read something like, does the Bible support it? And follow the money. Now, you've heard me say follow the money a lot. But even within mainstream religions, there's a lot of false, not just wrong, but blatantly false information being spread. So if you go to your Bible and your Bible doesn't support those teachings, My recommendation is to ignore them. If you're still not sure, do a little study and then follow the money. See who's going to profit from whatever the latest threat or fad or disease or disaster or war is, because that will tell you a lot about whether it's a genuine crisis or a manufactured one that comes from pure greed. We have to use our own common sense. We need to do our own research so that we can be confident in the decisions that we make and the actions that we take every day. We just need to. And another thing we need to do, pay down debt, especially pay down your debt. Get your mortgage paid down quick, smart. Look, sometimes this means you've got to cut back, you've got to make sacrifices, you've got to go without some things you absolutely love. But here's the thing. It's not forever. It's only until the debt is gone. So don't look at paying down debt as you being deprived, but look at it as, you gaining years and years, the rest of your life, to be debt-free and financially stable. Whether it takes 1 month, a year, 5 years, that's only a blip on the grand scheme of your life. And you can live like a bare bones cheapskate for that time, because you know that at the end you are going to have much, much longer to enjoy being debt-free. And that brings me to planning your finances. Working your budget to make sure there are no surprises, no gaps, that you have all your expenses covered. It's not as hard as you might think. It's really simple. Regular expenses are just that. They're regular. The mortgage repayment, the rent, the car registration, the insurance, even things like anniversaries, birthdays, Christmas, they are all regular. They all happen at the same time every month, every year. So those things shouldn't catch you by surprise. They should be a part of your regular budget, and they should be saved for regularly so that when the bill comes in, the money goes out, you don't even have to think about it. You know it's there. You can pay it straight away. There's no panicking, and you just start saving for the next year. Now, there's apps you can use to help you with your power use and knowing what your power bill is going to be, so you don't get caught by surprise. They work really well. Your own electricity supplier should have an app that you can download, and you can check it every day and see how much power you've used that day. If you're really worried about it, put the money aside each day as you check, and then when the bill comes in, you'll be able to pay it. They work really well. I love to see it. I love to check it to see how much less we've used. I like to do that. They're all things that we can do to prepare for the future. Get our pantries in order, get our finances in order, look ahead and know for sure what's coming, and then look ahead at what might be coming. There are medication shortages, diabetes meds, heart meds, ADHD meds, cancer meds, are all in short supply. One woman in Queensland went to the chemist. The chemist couldn't fill her script, told her to go back to the doctor and get him to write it for a half dose, because he'd be able to give her the half dose. If she needed the dose on the script, she needs it. A half dose isn't going to help. That's the state our country's in. And that sort of thing is, might make a news story, but it's a blip and it's gone. Whereas we should be screaming in outrage that in Australia in 2024, diabetes meds are short, heart meds are short, cancer meds are short, ADHD meds are short. We should be screaming at our government and demanding that that be fixed, instead of going, gosh, I have to go back to the doctor and get him to write me another script for a half dose. That's appalling. It's appalling that she thought that she'd have to do it. It's appalling that she was told to do it. It's appalling that we are in the situation where it is, where we have to do it. It's really, really, really annoying to me. I find it very frustrating. I find it very frustrating that decisions are made on our behalf by a handful of people without even consulting us. I understand that they are our politicians. We elected them. We elected them to do a job for us, not for themselves. So I get very frustrated. Aradia, that's right. Don't pollute your mind. That's exactly right. Okay. Yes, I know they want to charge us to use our own cash. How ridiculous is that? Absolutely appalling. And nothing's been said on it since for the 2 days. It was a news story for not quite 48 hours, and it's gone. Yeah, see, I wouldn't watch it, that doco, Selena. All right. Wheatgrass from whole wheat. Cool. I have no idea how they're built in Australia. Estelle, they are used quite a lot in the UK. They've become very popular in the UK, which is, it just blows my mind. That because travelling up and down the Hume, and you go through, you're coming into Goulburn, and you see them, and then you get to Gunning, and you see them, and you get to Yass, and you just see mile after mile after mile of these giant wind turbines, and it is just mind-boggling. Okay. Yeah. Okay. If the power goes off in the supermarket and we pay with cash, will the registered drawers open to give change? I have no idea. They must be able to, because our local Coles had a blackout, or the whole centre had a blackout, and they couldn't do the EFT transactions, but they could take cash. So they must have an override. Well, I guess anything that manufactures electricity is awful. You've got the coal-fired power stations, you've got the nuclear power stations, you've got the hydroelectric scheme. It's ugly and whatever too. You've got solar and you've got wind. We need power. Our world won't survive without power. And it's all very well and good for us to say that, oh, we don't need it. We could go back to you hand cranking this and we couldn't. We've lost the ability to be able to live like it was 200 years ago. We couldn't do it. We would not know how to do it. And in fact, it was no better because everyone relied on coal and wood for their cooking, their heating, coal to run the engines, to create the steam, to run the trains, to work the machinery in the factories. So there is no ideal way to get power. You have to pick the best and work with it. Otherwise, you just don't have power. Fracking, gas fracking for natural gas is awful too. All these things, there are consequences for everything. So we have to choose the one that is going to have the least impact and work with it. There's nothing wrong with a handmade grandma, Selena. My mum was a handmade grandma. Wayne's mum was a handmade grandma. Number one son. Well, I made the pita last night. I did pita breads last night, not tortillas. Perfect. So good. I struggle to roll the rolling pin. Even if I just use my hands flat, I struggle to use the rolling pin these days, let alone curl it around the handles or anything. And tortilla press has been one of those things that I have wanted for years, but never actually bothered to buy, simply because every time I looked, it had to come from America, and by the time you pay postage, you pay more than what you pay for the thing, and I just couldn't be bothered. And then I think, oh, I'll get my cousin to send one, or next time he comes home, I'll get him to bring me one. And then he'd come home and I'd forget to ask him, so I just gave up. So I was really excited to get it. It is so useful. Make your tortilla dough, or your wrap dough, or your pita bread, or whatever. I do it like I do for the pizzas, and I weigh it so they're even size. Weigh them, pop it into the middle of the thing, and it goes upside down. It's sort of different to the way you think it would be. So you put the handle part on the bench, pop the dough onto it, flip the top down, then push the handle over, and it just squashes that little ball of dough out to fill the thing, and then you just flip it off and drop it in the pan. Oh my gosh, so good. So good. So easy. So we might be getting lots more homemade tortillas anyway. Not so many bought ones. That's our Easter eggs. We don't have chocolate for Easter. We get pajamas, undies, and socks. I'm nothing if not practical. Take it one day at a time and you will make it. Life is short. Too many things can go wrong, so we need to make each day count. Oh, wow. Books in a secondhand bookstore. That's nice. Hope they weren't secondhand price and not new price. Selena, I think it was Annabelle that committed to 15 minutes a day at her sewing machine. Was that you, Annabelle? Last year or the year before? And what she got done in just that 15 minutes a day was amazing. If you have somewhere where you can leave it set up, so simple. Easy to do. I'm on my sewing table at the moment. It's a cross between sewing and recording. I think suet cuts a few weeks off, and I'm thinking, I put suet in puddings. What does it cut a few weeks off? Glad you clarified, Joy. Suet, yeah, it does. It cuts quite a few weeks off. Although the big ships make good time these days. Okay, sorry guys. No, don't know anything about where property title deeds can be lodged. Was it an Australian group, Estelle? A lot of the information we get in our groups isn't relevant because it's not for Australia. Which is really interesting, Kylie, because what have we heard for the last 4 months? Oh, La Nina's finished. We're into El Nino. It's going to be a long, hot, dry summer. The rivers will dry up. The dams will dry up. And I have to admit that driving down and back up, and back and forth, I've noticed that a lot of the dams are empty in New South Wales. And yet we've had more rain this last few weeks than we've had for ages. So I don't know. We can't predict the weather. And I'm just going to go with it now. I'm going to open my eyes in the morning and go, yay, red sky. Not putting the washing out. It's a red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky at morning, shepherds take warning. I'm going to stick to that. You'll need to speak to a solicitor. You'll need to speak to a solicitor. You'll need to speak to a solicitor, Estelle. I don't know about marching in the street, Beverly, but I certainly think that we should use our voice at the next election. Unfortunately, the choices we have are as bad. They're all as bad as each other. It's frustrating. Hannah and I were talking about this in the car. There's a group of people that call themselves sovereign. Oh, she's not here either. Sovereign something. And they don't register their cars. They drive cars without number plates on them. They don't send their kids to school. They homeschool. They don't they just work for cash only. And I sort of think it's really tempting, really, really tempting to almost go to that extreme. But it's just, I get frustrated because someone's making a decision on my behalf without consulting me. A bit like this no new gas installations in Victoria. So no new natural gas installations, no new builds can have natural gas in them now. You have to go electric, which is fine if that's what you want to do. But we already struggle to power what we have now. If there is no gas available, and it will eventually be phased out, so that if I have to replace my cooktop, it has to be electric. I won't be able to replace it with a gas one, or the hot water, or the oven, or whatever. That is terrifying, absolutely terrifying. We struggle to provide enough power for our state now. South Australia struggles to provide enough power for their state. New South Wales, we can't power what we have now. How is that going to work when everything is reliant on electricity, and they've shut down the coal-fired power stations and they're relying strictly on solar and wind and the little bit that the Snowy produces, because I think they've canned extending that too. So how are we going to manage? And who in their right mind thought that was a bright thing to do? And what politician decided that they would do that, make that decision for me? That was done without consultation with Victorians. It was just a decision made in Parliament. That should not have been allowed. That should not have happened. And that's the sort of thing we need to stand up and say, back the truck up, bucko. That's not what I want. I did not vote you into power to give you the right to destroy my life. I'm really very annoyed about it, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying it, but they all stink. Really, really hate really, really hate that a handful of people can make blanket decisions, and then when they go pear-shaped, they walk away with no consequence. No consequence. Really frustrated. Okay. Sorry, guys. Weather manipulation, yeah. Okay. Here we go. It was Annabelle. I knew it was someone I knew that did the 15 minutes of sewing a day. I'm going to try it. I like that idea. I have decided to have a cut-off time of an evening now where I'm just not going to, the laptop will go off and I won't be on Facebook or anything, and I'll just sit back and I can read, or I can crochet, or I can knit, or I can sew, or I have a little tapestry that I would like to get started and finished. So I've decided to give myself that time, but I'd like a dedicated time to sit at the sewing machine too, because you can get a lot done in 15 minutes if you plan it. I like to work in batches, so I get the tea towels and I go cut them all in half. Then I will cut out the toppers. Then I will sew all the toppers, put them aside, do the gathering on the tea towels, stitch the topper to the tea towel, do the buttonhole, sew on the buttons, cut all the threads. I do them in batches so that you just get so much more done. So much more done. So much easier. Sovereign citizen, thank you. Thank you. They won't be electric, they'll be induction. You can use canners, you can get canners for induction cooktops. Ozpharma do sell one that's suitable for induction cooktops, and it depends on the type of electric stove. Some will work, the canners will be safe to use on them, some aren't. Just keep your gas barbecue, I figure, or a wood fire. Oh my goodness. We do, but they're actually making more money selling it overseas because it's not good. It's not good for the environment. So we're just going to go all electric here in Victoria. No more new gas installations because gas is really bad for the environment. But we can sell it off to overseas, much like we do with coal and uranium. So, follow the money. Follow the money. It's really interesting. We watched traveling because I've done a lot of kilometers in the last few weeks, and up and down the Hume, and looking at the queues of people waiting to charge their electric cars, their Teslas. Most of them were Teslas. Was just, I would go mental. I would go absolute. It might only take 25 minutes, but I would go insane if there were 5 cars in front of you waiting and you had to wait, 2 hours to 2.5 hours to charge your car. But the one thing I did, the batteries in them at the moment will go around 450 kilometers before they need to be charged, which has always been why I've gone, electric vehicles are not practical for Australia. They're just not. The distances we travel. But there is a battery that will last for 1,200 kilometres, which means you would get from Melbourne to Newcastle easily in one charge. But it's not available in Australia because, beat this, folks, beat this. Now, I've just done about 5,000 kilometres in the last couple of weeks. Australians don't really travel great distances. Last year, we went from Melbourne to Birdsville, back to Melbourne. We went from Melbourne to Sydney a couple of times. We went all over the place. We did about 30,000 kilometres just from, on top of our normal around town driving last year. The Australians don't really travel far. We don't like to go long distances. Who was the moron? Who was the absolute moron that thought people will fall for that garbage? So that battery, that 1,200 kilometre battery, is not available in Australia. Absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. And another way of controlling us. Okay, sorry guys, we've gone way over. I know you don't mind, but put the little girls to bed. Hope they sleep well. Yeah. 'Cause, 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 Electric cars are rather expensive here too, Heb. And I'm wondering what's going to happen when there's more of them, how much they're actually going to cost to charge and how easy it's going to be. Yeah. Yeah, my Presto works on electric. It won't work on some of the older glass top ones. I've only got gas, so I don't know much about them. Yeah, there's no car. I thought the vehicles had to be over. I thought they had to be over 100,000 though. New price before that tax hit. I'll have to look into it again. But Beverly, don't you know now they've decided that humans produce more CO2, more methane than cows. So we're going to have to stop. We can only take every second breath because we're just producing too much. Our own breathing is what's causing the problem. They were blaming cows for a long time. No, it's not. It's humans. Some fool out of the UK came up with that before Christmas. Flask, sandwiches, biscuits, cake, cold water. It's just ridiculous, Joy. Sorry. I need. Oh, you stop talking, guys. Stop talking. Okay. Yep, limited credits, and once we go over, it'll cost more. Well, I don't mind saying I like electricity. Did you pick that up over there? Was that did that make the news over there, Hev? Because I just went, seriously? How he probably got a government grant to do the study too. It's just like, I'm so, what a moron. I couldn't help it. Sorry. I didn't mean to be insulting to all Brits. 15-minute cities. Yep. Another word for 15-minute cities, slums. They're horrible. That even in the artist's impressions are horrible. They're slums. It's just no. I want a house in the middle of 1,000 acres where I can't see people. I don't have neighbours. I don't have to hear them, see them, deal with them on a daily basis. I just know 15-minute cities are awful. They are just slums, just very expensive slums. And we've seen what happens when they try to do that sort of development. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I think we're all governed by idiots, Hev. Yeah, I was at our local Westfield on Boxing Day Boxing Day morning. Yes. Yeah, Boxing Day morning. And I left there, well, walked into Kmart at 8 o'clock, walked out of Kmart at 8:15, walked into Woolies at 8:18 or something, walked out 10 minutes later, went into another store. I wasn't even there. I was there probably, I don't know, 40 minutes or something. And when I left, the car park was deserted. There was hardly anyone in that centre. Went to Spotlight, and it was the same. I have never seen our Spotlight so empty. Never seen our Spotlight store so empty. Even on a normal day, it is busier. I didn't even have to wait. I got my fabric, went up to the counter and got served. That has never happened to me in Spotlight ever. There was no one around. I couldn't believe it. It was really quite weird. I don't know that people have a lot of money. I think that a lot of money was spent on the Black Friday sales that caused a bit of a all good. Retail traders were happy. And then, of course, that fell off in December when the December sales plummeted. They were way down. And so they were all putting everything, all their hopes onto the Boxing Day sales, which I don't think were quite as good as they thought they were going to be. So while there might have been lots of people around, I don't know that we're actually spending lots of money, if that makes sense. And it's a nice little town too. It's a lovely little town, Krista. Yeah. Yeah, I think 15-minute cities are disgusting. Oh my goodness. Well, I was driving out of Sydney over the weekend one day, whatever day it was. It was early in the morning, it was about 5:30, and I need coffee, so I pulled into a McDonald's. It was a 24-hour McDonald's. I thought I had never seen so many people at McDonald's at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm looking around, and as I was driving out, I thought, oh, that's what that big black building is. It was Amazon. They were working around the clock, so they were very busy. And I am. You would very proud of you. Get there early, shop with your list, get what you need and get out. That's what I say. I only bought one thing that wasn't on my list, and it was $1. So I was very, very happy with that. Okay, guys, it's 9:09. We have gone way, way over. From the sound of things, everyone had a reasonable, full hogget for 170. That's good. A reasonable Christmas. Happy New Year. Let's hope that we are as prepared as we're going to be for 2024. We will just keep on moving on. We won't let them get to us. We will focus on the future for ourselves and be happy. Live the cheapskate's way. What is it Maureen said? Keep calm and keep cheapskating. So we will do that. So I'm going to go because have a big day tomorrow. Saving Revolution started. I've got to do my first chat with them tomorrow. So I'm a bit nervous about that. A bit nervous. Don't know why. It's a new format. So remember, we've got a few things happening in Cheapskates, but I'll be back next week. I might be here. I might be somewhere else. If I'm somewhere else, we'll take it in our stride, won't we? Okay. Have a great week, everyone. I'm so glad you all came to join me tonight. Thank you for the thumbs up if you gave thumbs up. Much appreciated. If you're not already subscribed to our channel, click the subscribe button. All it does is let you know when we have a new video go up or we go live. Have a great week. Happy cheapskating. I'll see you soon. Bye.